quick word about James Covington. He's been here a couple of times.
Yeah.
First of all, thank you all for being here this morning. We have some happy announcements to make, and it's my name is Bill Armstrong. I'm the Communications Director for OpSail, and I'd like to my privilege to introduce one of America's most famous sailors, who was America's Cup sailing champion, Ted Turner, in 1977 ago, a long time ago, but he wears that proudly. Member of the Sailing Hall of Fame. He's ESPN commentator, and importantly for us, he's also trustee of Operation Sailing. So please join me in welcoming Gary Jobson.
Thank you, Bill.
You're all welcome to step two forward. I only have so much voice, even though I do plenty of announcing. Well, anyway, pretty inspiring to see Intrepid here over my shoulder, and those pictures that were in the paper last week of the space shuttle circling around Manhattan was pretty special. I think we're going to see that. Is pretty interesting. But that's a long way from the tall ships in Operation Sail. You know, it was actually 7 years ago this week that I was on a tall ship, Stad Amsterdam. We left Manhattan and sailed across the Atlantic Ocean, and it was a reminder to me how big the ocean is, and more importantly, how cool it is to be on these tall ships. And I think anybody that sees them gets a little romance from the sea, thinking of Jack London or Herman Melville, for example, with all their writings. So in 2 weeks from now, everybody in New York is going to get to see a parade of tall ships, and it's been a decade since the ships have really been here in New York. There's been a few random, but not all at once. And at the same time, the Blue Angels, the F-18s, and the Canadian Snowbirds are going to be doing a show here right on the river. So the combination of land here, air, and the sea is pretty compelling stuff. There's going to be 17 tall ships, 10 military ships, and there'll be a combined parade here for Fleet Week and OpSail 2012. And the fleet is going to be here for 7 days. So plenty of opportunity to get down there, and I'm going to have a couple film crews here myself, filming and interviewing and talking. I've also scored a ride on the Eagle, the U.S. Coast Guard vessel, so I look forward to that. And it's all without cost to the public, so unlike getting to Madison Square Garden, this is incredibly good value. 3 of the visiting international tall ships and 1 large U.S. naval ship will be berthed right here where the Intrepid Sea and Airspace Museum. 4 tall ships and 4 foreign military ships will be berthed at the Port Authority piers over in Brooklyn, and 2 tall ships and 4 U.S. Navy ships will be at the Sullivan piers on Staten Island. So they'll be all around, plenty of opportunity people to see. Now, OpSail has worked closely with our Navy partners for 2 years in creating this event in New York. New York is always hard, but in the end, worth it. I think, Chris, you would certainly agree with that. So we're upholding a wonderful tradition that dates back to OpSail in 1964. I was here. I was 14 years old, and my father and I were down on the Battery, and when I think about that day, I actually get tears in my eyes. It was pretty special. And I got to sail on America here in 1976, which was owned by the Merchant Marine Academy, where I was a coach at the time. And I was at the statue in 1986. So I'm telling you, I personally have had a long ride with this. 1992, where we also celebrated Columbus, and then the new millennium in 2000. I was in New Zealand at the time of the America's Cup. So that's what we're doing this year, and we're really marking the bicentennial of the War of 1812 and the penning of the Star Spangled Banner, which of course took place in Baltimore. So we can tell you about the best times of the tall ships. Precisely at 08:11 on Wednesday morning, May 23rd, the parade will start right under the Verrazano Bridge. The tall ships will sail, it says in my script slowly, but if there's a good breeze, it'll be faster than that. But they'll come up the river, and then followed by all the military naval vessels, the gray ships. The parade will turn around at the George Washington Bridge up here, the Hudson River, and then cross right here about noon. And there'll be the tall ships will be heading south, the military will be going north, and I must say it's going to be quite a sight. And right up there with the space shuttle flying overhead, the tall ships are really photogenic. And then they'll proceed to the respective repairs that I outlined earlier, and that's when everybody is invited to go on board. So nothing like this happens without strong support from the private sector. And so we're pleased to announce in support of Capital One Bank, thank you very much, which is signed on as a multi-port sponsor of OpSail 2012. Capital One Bank is one of the nation's 10 largest banks and a good friend of OpSail, and I do have one of your credit cards, by the way. It serves, so does my wife. It serves customers in New York, New Jersey, Texas, Louisiana, Maryland, Virginia, and the District of Columbia with a wide variety of financial services and products. So with us this morning is the president of the Manhattan market of Capital One Bank, Mr. James Covington. Thank you very much. You have to speak up because our sound system is, it's like being on a ship. You've got to give good commands. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Charles. Charles, I'm especially interested in what you've created for OpSail. We are a multi-port sponsor. We sponsor the tall ships in New Orleans, Baltimore, and of course New York City. And we have a long legacy with the maritime industry, especially in our New Orleans office. We are pleased to be part of the 200-year commemoration of the War of 1812 and the beginning of our song, the Star-Spangled Banner. We love the way veterans are tied into Operation SAIL in the military. We are fortunate to have veterans from all the different lines of the military as leaders and colleagues at Capital One. If I may, we are also committed, both time and treasure, to make sure our veterans, when they return, they have jobs. We're involved in a program, Hire 500,000 Heroes, with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and we think it's a terrific opportunity. And those of you that are involved in companies, please take an opportunity to look at our veterans as they return. We're so pleased to bring OpSail and tall ships to New York City. It's a unique historical perspective that our fellow citizens of this great city will have the opportunity to see. And Capital One, thank you very much for letting us be involved in this project.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
You got a good voice. You can do TV.
I'd be glad to.
Yeah. Although I tell people the grass is not as always as green as you might think. Well, thank you very much. So I'd like to introduce one of the world's foremost three-dimensional 3D artists who's done artwork for major baseball teams, for Disney. I do a little work with them, with ESPN obviously, and other nationally recognized groups. Charles Fazzino has also created the official commemorative poster for OpSail 2012, as well as a custom crafted three-dimensional piece of art that he's going to present. Charles, I told him when I saw this earlier to quote that great, come on, James, you're part of this now. This great baseball player, Yogi Berra, you might recall him. He had all his wonderful expressions, and I would say this poster is even better looking than it looks. So,
anyway, I'd love to present it to you. It's sort of my particular three-dimensional style, which I hope brings across the feeling of the event, the patriotism, the spirit of what it brings to New York and to all the ports. As you can see in the piece, it depicts New Orleans, Baltimore, Norfolk, all the different locations that the boats will be in, and center stage, the Coast Guard ship. And I just would like to present this to Capital One as being the official sponsor, and we just hope it brings across the feeling of the event.
Charles, I think you've captured the event, and thank you very much, and I'm hoping I can put this in my office.
One of them.
I was wondering, where is it going to end up?
That's where I'm hoping it is.
You know, I look at this, Charles. How long does it take you to make this?
Well, first I work on an original drawing first. Original drawing really has to capture exactly what the essence of the event is about. I go on to then make an original painting. The original painting is usually larger, and then it's sized down and made into a handmade print. The prints are then cut out by hand, cut and glued all by hand with an X-Acto knife, and then they're embellished with Swarovski crystals, different types of adhesives, and glitter, and it really is meant to pop and capture the event.
Well, I think it does. Absolutely. How long did it take you to make this particular one?
It was about a couple of months in the works to make this particular piece. It's an edition of 200, so that will be available to anybody who would like to participate and to have something like this to remember this, this monumental event.
Well, I think it's a beautiful piece of work.
Great.
Thank you.
And
I think you've got a good spot for it.
I've got a good spot.
Well, let me say thank you very much, Chris O'Brien, our colleague here with OpSail. If you have specific questions of what's going to, he's the man front and center. And Chris, I'd like to say over the past couple of weeks I've been working very closely with the Coast Guard, which you are a retired officer now, and anyway, what a professional group they are to work with. So.
The most value the taxpayer gets, the best spent taxpayer dollar is U.S. Coast Guard.
Yeah, and I'm saying that as a retired naval officer myself. So thank you very much. Congratulations. It's a wonderful piece of work. And thank you for your support.
Yes, sir.
We really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you, Gary.